Welcome back to Christian Questions with Jonathan and Rick, live Sunday mornings from 6 to 8. Our subject this morning, should it be Israel or Palestine? To be a part of our program, call 866-985-4255. That's toll free, 866-985-4ALL.
All right, and we're here with Ken Rawson. And Ken, do you have any a quick comment on that last call we got about sort of leaving them alone and let them decide their own fate?
Okay, I'll make a brief comment on that. Actually, the only reason the Arabs are interested in what was called Palestine up until 1948, I'd rather call it the Holy Land during that time, is that there is a scripture in the Quran that states that any territory that the Arabs once ruled at any time, the Arabs should take back. So we observed back in 638, the Arabs did rule in Palestine briefly. So now, according to Quran, the Arabs are obligated to take the Holy Land back. But if you leave it to, as John suggested, the two participants, the Israelis and the Palestinians, to decide whose right it is, they came to war, the Palestinians and the Arabs would be blasted off the map in the Holy Land. So it would be decided that way. I would rather not have it decided that way. But it probably will in the end. And we'll get to that later on.
All right, that'll be, so stay tuned for the second hour for that. Let's move forward a little bit, Ken, and let's talk about Palestinians. Who are Palestinians? You know, the Arabs, Yasser Arafat was very, very, very proficient at standing up for the cause of Palestinians. Give us your thoughts on that.
All right. Actually, Palestine during the 1800s and the early part of the 1900s until you had the Jewish state established in 1948, Palestine was called by the Arabs southern Syria. They didn't refer to it as Palestine. They were the Arabs that even lived in the Holy Land at that time, which were a small number. We learned that up to 1850 there were just 200,000 population, and only the Arabs were a part of that population. But Palestine was not called Palestine even by the Arabs in the Holy Land. They wanted to be a part of southern Syria, and I can give you any number of quotes by Arab leaders during that whole period of time in which they continually said, Palestine is southern Syria. It's Syria. It's Syria. It's Syria. All right, now why did the name and where did the name Palestine and when did the name Palestine become prominent? There's an interesting article in the Time magazine, and it was the article, I believe, was in 1981, and I'll just quote from it. And it says, Golda Meir once argued that there was no such thing as a Palestinian. Golda Meir, by the way, was one of about the third or fourth prime minister of Israel. She argued that there was no such thing as a Palestinian. And the quote goes on, at that time, and she wasn't wrong, before Arafat began his proselytizing, most of the Arabs of the territory of Palestine thought of themselves as members of an all-embracing Arab nation. It was Arafat who made the intellectual leap to a definition of the Palestinians as a distinct people. He articulated the cause, organized it, fought for it, and brought it to the world's attention, unquote. So actually, Arafat convinced the Arabs in the Holy Land to take the name Palestinian and claim that this is their land and they should fight for their right to their land. But during this whole period, we said There are many quotes from Arab leaders in and out of the Holy Land at that time that before the United Nations and in historic documents always referred to the land as Syria. Now, I'm going to read one or two quotes. You've heard of Assad, who was the Syrian president for many years, and his son now is president. Assad once told Arafat, the PLO leader, he says, quote, never forget this point. There is no such thing as a Palestinian people. Now, here's the president of Syria telling Arafat there's no such thing as a Palestinian people. There is no Palestinian entity. There is only Syria. You are an integral part of the Syrian people. Palestine is an integral part of Syria. Therefore, it is we, the Syrian authorities, who are the true representatives of the Palestinian people. Now, here's another quote. It was by the PLO Executive Council.
What year was that you just quoted?
This was okay. Let me get a footnote on this, and I'll give you the exact year.
Sorry, threw you off there.
that was about 1984.
Okay.
That quote was made.
Okay.
Okay. Then a Palestinian Executive Council member, Mushin, stated, quote, there are no differences between Jordanians, Palestinians, Syrians, and Lebanese. We are all part of one nation, the Arab nation. It is only for political reasons that we carefully underline our Palestinian identity. Yes, the existence of a separate Palestinian identity serves only tactical purposes. The founding of a Palestinian state is a new tool in the continuing battle against Israel.